Welcome to SlabMath. Today, we will be breaking down my PSA and Beckett grading orders. 20 cards each, 40 total. I am going to walk you through what each grader is, how I submitted, and what to expect when your order comes back. Let's get into it. If you're newer to the hobby, grading is when a company like PSA or Beckett evaluates a card's condition and assigns it a numerical grade from 1 to 10. That grade can have a huge impact on value. A PSA 10 often sells for significantly more than the exact same card in a PSA 9 or PSA 8. But here's the important part. Just because a card looks clean doesn't mean it's guaranteed to receive a 10. That's why having a process before you submit is so important. Before we dive into my submission, it's important to understand what these grades actually mean. Whether you're looking at PSA, Beckett, or another grading company, they're all trying to answer the same question. How close is this card to perfect? A PSA 10, or Gem Mint, is essentially the gold standard. The card has to be exceptionally clean, with sharp corners, strong centering, clean edges, and little to no visible surface flaws. It's the grade every collector hopes for, and it's usually where the biggest jump in value happens. A PSA 9, or Mint, is still an outstanding card. It might have a tiny print imperfection, slightly off centering, or a small surface issue that keeps it from earning a 10. To the naked eye, many PSA 9s look nearly identical to PSA 10s, but the market often values them very differently. A PSA 8, or Near Mint, is where more noticeable flaws begin to show. Maybe the centering is farther off, there's a soft corner, or light surface wear. For many modern cards, this is often the break-even point, or even a loss, depending on what you paid and the grading fees. Once you get into PSA 7 and below, you're usually looking at more significant wear. That doesn't necessarily make the card undesirable, especially for vintage collectors, but for modern cards, lower grades often have much less upside. Beckett uses a similar 1 to 10 scale, but they also assign subgrades for centering, corners, edges, and surface. Historically, a BGS 9.5 Gem Mint has been considered roughly comparable to a PSA 10 in many parts of the hobby, while a BGS 10, or the extremely rare Black Label 10, represents an even higher standard. The biggest takeaway is this: grading isn't just about getting a high number. It's about understanding how each grade affects the value of your card. That's why I always compare recent sales at multiple grades before I decide whether a card is worth submitting. One habit that's completely changed the way I collect and submit cards is tracking every purchase I make. Whether I'm buying a card online or finding it in a dollar box at a card show, I record what I paid, when I bought it, and where I bought it. At first, it might seem like extra work, but once you start grading cards, that information becomes incredibly valuable. Without knowing your actual cost basis, it's almost impossible to calculate your true return on investment. For every card I submit, I track the raw purchase price, grading fee, shipping costs, and eventually the final grade. Once the card comes back, I compare it to recent sales and calculate whether I actually made money or if I would have been better off selling it raw. It also helps identify patterns. Maybe you consistently find better deals at local card shows than online. Maybe one player or product line performs better than another. The more data you collect, the better your future decisions become. Staying organized doesn't just save time, it saves money. Instead of guessing what you paid for a card or wondering if a submission was profitable, you have the numbers right in front of you. That's good for your mental clarity, and it's even better for your wallet. That's really the philosophy behind SlabMath. Every purchase tells a story, and every submission is another data point. The more you track, the smarter your decisions become. You can use AI tools like Copilot, ChatGPT, or Claude, as shown to quickly look up comps for cards you either are preparing to submit or already submitted. 130point.com, an eBay last sold search engine, is the easiest way to check your raw or graded card comps quickly. Check each grade's 8 through 10 last sold sales to identify your margin by the time you receive your graded cards. As you can see, I have the price I paid for the Shohei Ohtani Future Stars card raw, and I am looking up the last sold for each grade. Grades like 10 or 9s are not guaranteed as well. I like to use a max, median, and minimum price guide to find the average of all 3 different grade prices. That's really the philosophy behind SlabMath. Every purchase tells a story, and every submission is another data point. The more you track, the smarter your decisions become. I have another Beckett order I just submitted and will come out with another video about that submission with tracking cost, cost of grading, and how you can do it yourself just like I did. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. I really appreciate you spending a few minutes with me. My goal with SlabMath is simple: to help collectors make smarter decisions with their money by breaking down the numbers behind grading, buying, and selling sports cards. Hopefully you learned something from this submission, whether it's how to research comps, think about grading differently, or simply why running the math before you submit can save you money. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, I'd really appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps support the channel, and it lets me know these types of videos are valuable to you. Like I mentioned earlier, I also have a full Beckett submission on the way, where we'll compare it to this PSA submission and see which grading company made the most sense for each card. Until then, keep collecting, keep learning, and remember, grading is a math game, not an emotional decision. I'll see you in the next SlabMath video.